In this video, we're going to take a look at a sample-based approach to composition. And in Cubase now, we have the ability to do this using the Groove Agent SE4. We can drop a sample onto the pad and then transpose it up and down the keyboard and do some really interesting stuff with it. So it's a real nice, old school kind of hip-hop approach to dealing with samples. And I'm not going to make a hip-hop track. I'm going to do something probably quite housey. Let's see what happens. I'm going to kickstart things off by loading up the instrument. So I'm going to click on the plus, just drop this down. I'm going to search for groove, and here we go. So I'm going to load this one up. Cubase Pro 8 now has the media bay dockable on the right hand side, and this is really handy because we can search for samples here and then drag them onto the pads. It's a really nice, quick and easy way to do it. Now this is pointing to the local hard disk, and this is where I've got all my samples, and I'm typing in here stab. You can see that I did that earlier. It's going to look for all of the samples that have the word stab. So basically, let's have a look, let's have a listen. Turn it down a little bit here. Some great samples here from my library. These could be from anywhere. There's something that I remember this sample. I just want to have a listen. Now that's actually the sample that I used on that track, Oh My Days, which I produced under the name Enzyme Black. I'll put a link up to that so you can have a listen to it. But what I'm going to do is pick this up and drag it on. And now it's on the keyboard, and it's going to be at the MIDI note C1. You can see that down here because it says C1 on the pad, and it plays to the very end of the sample. Just to change that, I'm going to go onto the sample tab and change it from one shot to no loop. So look what happens. So it plays for as long as I've got the keyboard held down. So what I want to do, instead of just being on one pad, is I want to come over to the pitch tab, turn on key range, and then I'll take my low key all the way down, C-2, high key up to G8. So this means now I can transpose the sample up and down on the keyboard. We take it down an octave. Okay, I like the sound of that already. I got a feeling I could get a little bit of a vibe down here. So I'm going to expand this out. Take the left and right locators so that we've got a 4-bar duration. And just going to check a couple of things. I'll make sure my click's on. And what I'll do is just put this back, put the cursor to the left locator and record something in. Let's have a listen. Now that sounds wicked actually, so I'm going to name this Stab 1. Shift plus Enter to name the part the same as the track. That's a really nice thing to do. And the other thing I'm going to do is just double click to open up the MIDI part. Command A to select them all. I'm going to right click on here, come down to Functions, Legato. Now check out the note lengths. You see this distance between here and the next grid position. And also over here, what I want to do is make sure that these all play up to the next note. So coming down here again, so Functions, Legato. So can you see that? It just all jumped up to the next note. That's nice and tidy. I'm also going to even out these velocities, and let's have a listen to that. It's a little bit loud, considering the other elements we need to get in on this. I think it sounds wicked already. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another instance of the Groove Agent 1. So once again, Groove, just for speedy access to it, I'm going to click Add Track. And you'll notice, because I've got the sample mapped chromatically up and down the keyboard and, over these pads, that I'm not bothering by doing multiple outputs. There's no point. It's a case of one instance of Groove Agent per sound. That might feel a bit like overkill, but this is the way to work with it at the moment. So it's a real nice way to get sampling without having to buy a sampler. So, okay, what do I want now? I'm going to have a look for something else. Let's look for kick. And what do we get? Obviously a whole load of stuff. Now, when I'm doing this kind of approach, I need to have something that's got a reasonably long duration and something with a pretty well-defined tone. You'll find out why in a minute. Actually, I think I'm going to go for that one. I'm going to drag that on, and let me take the keyboard down to the right transposition. There we go. So, once again, we're going to go onto pitch. We're going to go to key range. I'm going to take this down again. So dragging the low key. So I'm transposing the kick. Can you hear that basically when I play it higher up the keyboard, it's got a different tone. So I like the sound of that. And I'm going to record something in. Let's come back. Let's have a listen. Yeah, I really like that. Just going to select these all and take the velocities up to max again. And you can see what's going on here. Let me show you that in solo. So we've got the kick drum playing at the normal pitch first, and then we've got it going up in pitch. That sounds really, really nice. And maybe I'll take it even higher. I'm also getting the note a couple of octaves up because you can hear that musical pitch in there. So a couple extra kicks, higher ones. We take these and take these higher in velocity. I'm going to take my click off. I'm just going to rebalance these levels a little bit. Loving that real grainy scratchiness that's going on from that chord sample. That sounds wicked. Okay, so let's add another layer so you can see what's happening here. So backtracking, a single Groove Agent SE instance per sample. The sample transposed up and down these pads. Okay, so let's get another one. Going to add an instrument track and going to drop this down. Groove. Let's get myself a HiHat. So in my search on the media bay, I'm going to type in hat. And what do we got? Some of these are the wrong format. So let me just have a look. I want to go for, yeah, you can see here media type, that's MIDI. I want actually audio. It's quite nice, a little bit too much space around it though. That's quite nice. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll pick that. So onto the pad again. And this time, the pitch, key range, we're doing exactly the same again. Let me take the solo, make sure that's on. Do you know what? I can hear some noise on that. Just going to come to my mixer. Just going to open this up. Yeah, look at that. Let's turn on that low cut. Let's roll that down. Also an abundance of high frequencies, a little bit too much. So using the pre-section here, taking away some of the highs above 12K, and then also taking away lows under 600. Nice and tidy. So you can hear, that's a normal pitch. I can take it higher to create almost like a closed hat. So I'm going to do a little vibe like that, I think. Let me take the solo off and come back over here. This is going to be the hi-hat, and let's do this. Let's record. going to move this one over. So that's cool. Let's do something higher up the keyboard maybe. So this is now hats. It's a really interesting approach for this. Got a real nice, interesting movement. I'm wondering if maybe you should get something really low as well. So it's the same sample transposed up and down to create the variation. So what else? Maybe I'll get something like a Rimshot. See what we got. I quite like the sound of that actually. Let me bring this down. So once again, onto the keyboard, let's get the roots note, C1 there. Let's go to pitch. So this is the routine basically. Getting a sample, mapping it, using this transpose here, this fixed, sorry, the key range. Let me take that off. There we go. So literally I'm playing it on the keyboard up and down. Let me have a listen. Wow, look at all that bottom end. If you guys are listening with a big system, you'll be thinking, wow, that's heavy. So let's take that out. Wicked vibe already, isn't it? You know, this is like such a nice way to make music. And yeah, you could create a template perhaps with loads of these Groove Agent ones all set in there ready and waiting to go instead of having to do this individually. Now I'm looking for a shaker. Some good ones there. I might take this actually, that sounds nice. So let me just adjust the start point, a little bit too lazy there. Let's come to the pitch, key range. Something that's cool. never imagined that I'd be doubling up on that Rimshot. So that's quite an interesting texture, actually, really low. That's that shaker played down low in the keyboard. And the whole thing about this is, you know, when you're auditioning samples and you're listening to them at their normal pitch, you know, and you drag them onto something like Groove Agent 1 under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have really contemplated the fact that it could sound good when played low. So that's the whole advantage of mapping onto a keyboard. You can experiment and just improvise and see what happens. So I'm going to record that in. So I added another little layer to that. Let's have a listen to that. I'm going to solo it so you can hear it. Let's take away the bottom end. Lost a little bit too much of the highs there. Sounding good. So yeah, this is a really nice way to compose your track. You know, just getting a sample each time, mapping it onto the keyboard, playing it, seeing what comes up. I wonder if I got like a sax sample or something here. That's not a sax. Let me see. By the way, if it's too loud, just bring this little preview volume down. Of course, the other thing to do is to audition at the same time as the music is playing, you know. Okay, I like that. I think that could work. I don't know if it's going to work transpose up and down. We shall find out. Key range all the way down. And then up. Let's check that sample start point. It felt like it was a bit loose. Ha, it sounds rubbish. What else we got? Okay, for me, that's not working at all. Let me try stab again, see if we got another. I quite like this. I don't know if it's going to work. Let me just do this and let's get this set up. Got a pitch. Might need to tune this a little bit. This could be where it all starts to go very wrong. We'll see. Loving the atmospherics there. That's actually interesting. It's a little bit out of pitch, but I love that. Let me have a look, see if we can get that fitting in. Turns the sub again. Just going to roll that back. Lovely atmospherics there. So anyway, that's it for this demo. I just wanted to show you the approach, and so what you're doing is using multiple Groove Agent SE instances, each with a single sample loaded, and then using the ability to map the sample up and down the keyboard on the pitch tab with the key range button active, and then setting your low key and your high key. So this represents the lowest key on the keyboard you can trigger the sample with, and the highest. So go and have a play around with it, and yeah, have a lot of fun.